Alt season is canceled. That's right. That's what they were saying 4 years ago. In fact, we have alt season canceled. XRP, Ethereum, and Litecoin all trigger a sell signal. Then we also got this discussion over on the Trust Wallet community page. Is alt season canceled? And this was July of 2020, right when we started to see DeFi tokens going crazy because of DeFi summer and ultimately leading to alt season. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we go over here to coin market cap, we could still see that Bitcoin is chopping, doing practically nothing. We could see throughout the entire top 100, barely any gains being made. Look at the last 7 days. Look at this. One altcoin is printing double-digit figures on the 7-day gainers. This is comical. When we're talking about altcoins, we're not talking about 12% moves in 7 days. No, we're talking about 120% moves in the last 7 days. Let's be honest, it's very easy to take positions in crypto, but it's extremely hard to actually have a game plan in place when the time comes to take profits. And that's exactly why I released a completely free exit plan that you can apply to literally every single position that you take in crypto. And the best part about it is that it's completely free. All you have to do to get access is go to the link down in the description below and claim your access now. What are you waiting for? Capture those profits. But that's just not happening right now, and it's because we are still chopping with Bitcoin. We're still waiting for Bitcoin to make a move. Even over here, as we look at the last day on Bitcoin, look at this floor being created basically, and we have a nice big move to the upside of 64.5K. We still need to break over that. We still need to, do some work when it comes to Bitcoin actually having a breakout. But look at the last month on Bitcoin. Look at the last year on Bitcoin going back to, March. And I've said this on multiple occasions, like Bitcoin is just chopping, doing pretty much nothing right now. And we're just waiting for a big move. And during this time, as Bitcoin has these, big spikes to the upside and then these big spikes to the downside, altcoins are getting squeezed during this entire time. And, pretty much all the life out of altcoins is getting squeezed out of them. XRP is a perfect example of this. There's a lot of altcoins that I can mention, like Hbar or even Cspr or even QNT. There's, so many alts that right now are just getting the life squeezed out of them because of this chop. Now, as we look at that, right, there is still some nice gains happening in the top 500 on the last 7 days, but this is nothing versus, alt season. Again, I don't think that I need to tell you guys that during alt season, you will have gains of 100% plus in a day span. There's some altcoins that do a 10x in a day span. It's insane. Right now, we're not there yet. And everyone is pretty much saying the same thing. Oh, there's not going to be an alt season. The Bitcoin ETFs, it's locking up so much capital. We're not going to see a Bitcoin rotation into altcoins. We're starting to see all these bearish narratives, floating around now, talking about how there's not going to be an alt season. There's not going to be this, not going to be that. And it's all really kind of reinforcing the fact that we will have an alt season. In fact, it will probably be one of the biggest alt seasons that we've ever witnessed. But during this time, there's going to be a lot of turmoil. There's going to be a lot of sell pressure. There's going to be a lot of, up, down swings. There's going to be chop. There is going to be capitulation and shakeouts along the way. As we look at Bitcoin right now, this is the chart for Bitcoin. Again, literally zero change here. We had a nice wick back down into the 63.4K level. Again, I was trying to leverage trade this a little bit with tight stop losses because, again, volatility is going to pick up during these types of moves. And really, there wasn't a strong position at all to really kind of take here because during this entire time, even on the 4 hour, you can kind of see this, right? It's just nothing. It's just a big nothing. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down, swinging. And this is basically just chop. We're just waiting for it to do something other than this. We want to see a big move to the upside or even a big move to the downside. That way we actually get confirmation of a path going forward. But I will say this, on the day span and even on the 3-day span, we are now starting to see a little bit of something forming on this chart. And can you see that? So we have this nice low here which by the way is a macro higher low. We're talking about this low here. Now we have this higher low, which is great. On the short term, and technically even on the macro as well, we now might be forming a higher low again. And this is where we look for a higher high up here. We want to see 74K finally broken on Bitcoin. But this could be the moment where we start to kind of form a floor here, waiting for a big move to the upside. Now, on this next move on Bitcoin, in my opinion, it's probably going to start some types of moves within the altcoin market. And when I say that, I mean, we're probably going to start to see some altcoins breaking out against their Bitcoin pair. And the reason why I say that is because of Bitcoin dominance. Now, this one has also been chopping. I mean, let's be real. This has been in this upward chop price movement for the entire year of 2023 into 2024. And it's been pretty weak. If I'm being honest. I mean, let's go all the way back to April. I mean, this was the last major impulsive move up to about like 57%. And then from here, we started to kind of get a little bit weak. The impulsive moves to the upside have been weaker. The momentum has been weaker. So now what we are waiting for is this thing to just break down and lose the structure completely. It's going to take some time, but we are still watching this pretty close. But while we start to see Bitcoin have that next major impulsive move here, we might see a slight, move on Bitcoin dominance to the upside just to reinforce that move. But after that, I'm expecting this thing to break down. And while Bitcoin is continuing to go to $80 to $100 to $120,000, right? I do believe that Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to drop to the downside. And during that time, I'm expecting us to have a major impulsive move on the others dominance chart, very similar to June of 2023 into, of course, July and August and September, when we start to see altcoins going a little bit crazy. It wasn't anything special, but again, they start to wake up. But then also back in December of 2020 into January, when we actually officially saw Altseason begin. So that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm watching for right now when it comes to the others dominance. Outside of that, as we look at the XRP Bitcoin pair, the Hbar Bitcoin pair, the QNT Bitcoin pair, the Cspr Bitcoin pair, all four of these charts are pretty much showing us the same exact thing. When it comes to XRP and Hbar, these two are pretty similar. They're on their macro bottom right now in terms of that trend line. They're just kind of chopping here, waiting for the impulse to move to the upside. Again, we're waiting for Bitcoin to weaken. It might get a little bit stronger in the short term, but I do believe that it's going to weaken within the next roughly week or two. From there, we really kind of look at QNT and Cspr. These two are in this massive downtrend that it seems like it's never ending. But remember, right, a lot of these charts when it comes to like XRP or even Hbar, they are also in this massive downtrend, and it feels like it's never going to end until all of a sudden it finds a floor. It has this, little bit of a range form on that bottom, and then we finally have an impulsive move to the upside. That's what we're waiting for right now on QNT and also on Cspr. Outside of this, I do want to go over a few things, and that is a few posts actually from not only Credible Crypto, but also even myself. And here we have our last impulsive move took us from 38K to 73K in 1.5 months. That's a 35K move in about 50 days. The impulses that follow should be even more aggressive, and we are trading at 64K. Our next impulsive move could send us to 100K within 30 days. And we still have around 6 months left until the end of the year. You do the math. Now, yes, I'm anticipating a top during the end of this year. And I do think that this post here by Credible actually really kind of supports that idea, because we have been talking about this roughly 100 to 119K topping point for Bitcoin. But I've also been saying like, hey, I do think that we top in Q4 of this year, latest Q1 of 2025. But a lot of people are saying like, oh, like Bitcoin's not going to do much. It's not going to, do X, Y, and Z. I've been calling for 80 to 100K by the end of the summer. And as we do really look at that, right, when it comes to these targets, a lot of people are like, there's no way that that can happen. There's no way that this is going to happen. And it's kind of similar to like XRP, right? Like back in July on one daily candle, we went up like over 100%. Now, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to do 100% overnight, but I will say this. If we look at these impulsive moves on Bitcoin, just for reference, going back to the January lows to the high recently, this was a 90% move in the market, okay? And it was up by $35,000. These types of moves happen in crypto. That's why people love crypto. Even now, technically speaking, off of where we are at now to 120K, this is an 85% move. If we just go to 100K, that is a 50, almost 6% move. To $80,000, which is the first target that I say like, hey, we'll see 80 to 100K by the end of the summer, it's a 24.5% move. These are possible moves. During this time, I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to drop significantly. And the first level, so we might run up again to like 56%, maybe a little bit higher, right? I'm still expecting at least a 10% drop back into a demand zone, and that's just a 10% drop. Recently, we started to see altcoins go a little bit crazy off of just like a 3 to 5% drop in the market, which is crazy to me. So just imagine a 10%, a 15%, or even back down to like the 40% zones on where altcoins could very well be trading at by the end of the summer or even the beginning of the fall timeframe. Now, outside of that, I also want to go over here to this post by myself, and I said, it really does feel like the majority will miss this next move completely. They are expecting lower, not realizing this next wave is the beginning of the largest moves of the cycle. They were warned multiple times, and it's up to them to choose their path. Are you prepared for this next move? And the reason why I say this is because even back here, right, like when we go back to 2020, a lot of people were not prepared accordingly to, really be prepared for alt season. And the problem is that they had warnings all throughout 2020 that alt season was going to happen, alt season was coming, and there was narratives floating around even then about how alt season is not going to happen. Right now, we have those same narratives. Oh, Bitcoin ETFs are going to stop the flow of money from Bitcoin into altcoins, or, now we have institutions in the space. They're manipulating Bitcoin. They're manipulating the price action. They won't let you get rich. Like there's so many nonsensical narratives now floating around that are just bearish. And in my opinion, reinforce the fact that we will see a lot higher for altcoins. Even over here, I said just recently that the market has been chopping for almost the entire month of June. We just got confirmation of Ethereum being cleared by the SEC, while rumors of the ETH ETF approval are targeting July 2nd. July 5th is the new moon cycle. The beginning of July is still something I'm heavily focused on. This chop is relentless, and it almost feels like it will never end. You will start to see a lot of bearish posts if you haven't already, and the sentiment will be negative, which it has been. What happens next is a complete flip of the market. Bitcoin forms a spring-like move. ETH ETF approval sometime in the first week of July, and then phase 2 of Altseason begins. The game is designed to play against you. Don't get shaken out now. And yes, it really is. Even over here, right? To support my overall catalyst behind Ethereum and the fact that Ethereum is going to take off, I said this also supports a potential catalyst behind Ethereum. With the SEC out of the picture, the ETH ETF approval probably happens within the next 2 to 3 weeks, full sending Ethereum. I truly can't imagine being bearish at this moment. I put capital behind my thought process and I bought the dip. I don't care about short-term chop. I know in the next few weeks that we will be much higher. Those that have been extremely bearish / negative lately will be sidelined. Full send mode will soon be activated. Thanks for playing. And this is a post by Credible Crypto talking about Ethereum. In fact, it's, the SEC backing off of Ethereum, the Ethereum ETF, and he's showing some chop here. Now, again, time frame wise, it doesn't really matter, but he's looking at roughly like September when we start to have the C bottom here before we go to the D wave, followed by the E wave, and then, of course, the last major wave where Ethereum goes absolutely crazy. But the first major move, which is the B wave, which happens in the summer, will take us to well over $5,000 for Ethereum, which will also bring altcoins with it. And we have with developing PA, price action, now confident enough to say I think that this lower region from my original chart is out of play. The SEC backing off ETH is likely the nail in the coffin for bears here. I think our green region here holds and ETH looks good for a new all-time high. Now also, Bitcoin at 100K plus while Ethereum chills between 3 to 5K, I don't think it's just possible. I think it's quite likely. While I do think ETH Bitcoin has still another 20 to 30% downside left, that doesn't mean that ETH USD will fall a similar amount. And yes, this is crucial. As we actually focus on a lot of these altcoins, I really don't care about their USD pairs all that much. I care about what they're doing against Bitcoin. Obviously, yes, I love to trade USD pairs. I like to buy USD pairs because that's what we are buying. We're not buying Bitcoin pairs for these altcoins, but I do think that it is 100% crucial to focus on their Bitcoin pairs as well, because what they really kind of tell us is that they're close to bottoming out against Bitcoin. And right now, as we do look at Bitcoin, yeah, we are expecting much higher for Bitcoin. I think that right now, anyone in this space that is not expecting higher prices for Bitcoin has not really been around for a while in this market and not experiencing cycles, because we haven't hit euphoria yet in this market. We still have a while to go for this market. I'm still expecting a top within Q4 of this year. We still have 6 months to go. But outside of that, right? If we go over here, realistically, I think downside on ETH USD is extremely limited from current levels, 10% or so max. There is, of course, the unknown factor of Bitcoin price action here and how it will affect ETH USD on more significant drawdown. But assuming downside is limited to a couple thousand on Bitcoin max from current levels, I think our bottom on ETH was put in at 2,800-ish. That being said, ETH hasn't yet reached prior all-time highs, while Bitcoin is gearing up for another 20 to 30K plus impulse. And so I think ETH falters a bit at prior all-time high and consolidates while attention and liquidity flows to Bitcoin as it climbs to 100K plus. If you're patient, ETH will have its turn, but you need to be comfortable with it chopping about for another few months before it really is ready for that next mega pump to the upside. And if you don't think this is realistic or possible, check how long Bitcoin has been consolidating after tagging its own prior high for some context. Now, this mega pump, right, which is probably going to be in the title of this video, which is, hey, guess what? We're preparing for a mega pump, because we technically are, right? Like, I don't think that I have to even tell you guys, like, listen, as we really look at this space, as we look at Ethereum, as we look at Bitcoin, yes, Ethereum will have its day. Yes, altcoins will have their day. When Ethereum starts to go crazy, that's when altcoins really start to go crazy as well. And if we think about this, right, Ethereum already has the stage set. I told you guys about the Ethereum SEC lawsuit getting cleared up, basically. A lot of people were saying like, oh, no, it didn't really get cleared up. A lot of people were trying to be bearish on that. Listen, we know Ethereum is in the bag of the SEC. We know that Ethereum is going to get cleared. We know that it is pretty much a big nothing in terms of this SEC lawsuit. Once we get the ETH ETF approval, it is game over. That is the big catalyst for Altseason. That will start the mega pump on Ethereum. It will also bleed into altcoins and start the altcoin mega pump as well. We are getting closer to the phase 2 of this space, and I get it. We have been very patient. We have been waiting. We have been waiting for something to happen while Bitcoin is just doing this. And we're talking about months, guys. We're not talking about, a couple of days here. No, Bitcoin has been chopping for now over 100 days. So yes, we are just waiting for something to happen. But I want you guys to understand that also down here where Bitcoin was just ranging and bleeding, here we have a range. This entire range before it actually broke out was over 263 days. But guess what ended up happening from that bottom there back in March of 2023 to this top? 276% of a move. So right now we have been chopping for about roughly half of that almost. We have some more days if we are really going to chop, but I don't think that we have that much longer here, because again, how long can Bitcoin really kind of squeeze between this range for? It's been 102 days. I don't think that this lasts much longer, but this 102 days of just sideways momentum, you got to remember, right? Here we have a huge move to the upside of 90, almost 2% after Bitcoin just squeezed. And this was just a very, very small amount of time. Yes, it had another impulsive move here above the recent high, but this was just a squeeze of roughly 60 some days before it did a 92% move. So do you think that it is possible that Bitcoin is going to do a 24.5% move to potentially a 56% move after ranging for well over 102 days? In my opinion, yes, I do believe so. And that's going to be a mega pump on Bitcoin. It's going to cause Bitcoin dominance to have have its official top, start its breakdown, while altcoins go absolutely parabolic, including, of course, Ethereum. And that's going to be our alt season, and it probably happens before the end of this year. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.